Welcome back to another edition of the Washington Nationals here on OOTP 27. And as you can see, we are approaching the trade deadline here in 2035. It is July 29th. We are just a couple days out here. And I think it's obvious what we're going to be trying to improve here at the deadline, and that is our pitching. Possibly picking up a starter or two to add to the mix. I've even thought about possibly making Jerry Harris not pitch the rest of the season. I mean, he just hasn't been good. He just has straight up has not been good as a pitcher this season. So I kind of just feel like we should just let him loose as a hitter and then just see what he can do as a full-time hitter right now, because he's hurting the team more than he's helping the team right now as a pitcher. As much as it is like I guess a ratings thing or a tickets thing to have him a two-way attraction, but he's just not getting it done on the mound. So like, I'd be interested in doing something like Skubal, Hardcastle. We get Harris out of the rotation. Alcia gets replaced by a guy we pick up. I guess that would be four that we have. So maybe one guy gets added. Because like I like Kleeman. I think Kleeman should remain in the rotation. He's going to keep being a guy for us. And then Alex Rouse is having a decent season. I guess he's having an okay season. He could be a guy who could definitely go to the bullpen and really be like, I'm pretty sure he ticks up a ton. His stuff ticks up, but overall, he's still a solid starter too. But he's a guy who could be like a really good stopper for us. So like, we could potentially be like, Kleeman stays in the rotation. We add two names. Alcia probably goes down to AAA. Harris becomes just a hitter, and Rouse goes to the bullpen, and that would open up two spots in the rotation. So two starting arms, that could possibly be a thing we do. It just depends on who's out there. Maybe one. I think at the very least, adding a starter is going to be what we do here at the deadline. Possibly a reliever arm or two as well. Probably just one reliever, though. We might do either two starters and a reliever, or one starter and a reliever is probably what the goal is, just because we've had just a bunch of guys just not having great seasons. Like, Yoder is somebody who hasn't been great this season, and he's also just prone to giving up home runs in general. He doesn't have any option years, though. So that's going to be tough to get him off the team. Maybe he's a part of a trade or something. Like, he's still making league minimum here. So I don't know. We'll see. But Barry could be a guy that maybe moves out of the team, goes to AAA. Well, we'll have to see how things shake out. But I definitely want to add a couple arms to the mix. As then on the offensive side of things, I just don't think we really have any open spots. So I just think that with the guys that we have right now, and then some of the depth that we have in the minors, I just don't really feel like adding anything. I think if we need to add somebody to the team, we have them in the minor leagues just ready to go. And I don't really think there's a need to go and quote-unquote upgrade any position right now. I think literally the only thing that maybe could be intriguing would be like maybe getting a third baseman. But like, I like Luis Hernandez. Luis Hernandez is a proven guy for us. He's having a down season right now, but like, we're gonna get to the playoffs, and he's gonna have a big moment like he always does. And then Gabby Berry. He hasn't been great offensively, but he's a solid player. He's a good defender. He's a good hitter with some power, some avoid K. He's a useful player. So like, I just don't think there's going to be anybody better than those two guys out there. And I'd rather just stick with what we have. So offensively, I don't think we're going to make any changes. But then the pitching, like I said, probably adding at least a starter and at least a reliever to the bunch. And just taking a look right away at the all pitchers list here on the trade block. Dave Santana, who is that? Yeah, he's also out with a ruptured UCL. He was that Cuban guy who came over as like an established free agent and got paid a shit ton of money. He's on the final year of that deal at $59 million. And of course, he ruptures UCL, and now he's fragile. So he's no longer going to be somebody that is very viable anymore, because it looks like he's gotten hurt a bunch. Yeah. He's had a bunch of injuries. 6 weeks with a strained hamstring, 6 weeks with shoulder inflammation, 2 to 3 months with a strained hamstring, 2 to 3 months with a sore shoulder, 6 weeks with a sore shoulder, 2 weeks with back tightness, 2 weeks with sore elbow, 6 months with a torn wrist. So he tore his rotator cuff last season, or no, 2 seasons ago, and then this season he ruptures his UCL. So I mean, his arm is cooked, and he's not even 29 years old yet. So don't think he's going to be sticking around very long in this. Well, he probably will because, he's going to have a high rating and people are going to give him contracts, but he's just never going to be able to consistently stay on the hill. Hunter Green, somebody who is not expiring. He does have a vesting option, 180 innings. He would probably get that. Maybe not, but do I really want to go after Hunter Green? Maybe. We'll see. Let's sort this by starters here. So Hunter Green, what is San Diego even looking like in the standings? Yeah, they're in the mix. They're the second wild card team. They're second place. They could even win the division. So yeah, I'm not going to trade for Hunter Green from San Diego. Trevor Rogers, once again, a guy who's not an expiring contract, but does have that same 180 innings pitch vesting option. Who could be an option? He's been really solid, really throughout this entire save. His percentile rankings are really, really good. Detroit is currently last place in the Central, and they are still in the wild card, though, so that could be a little bit tricky there. As the Central looks like it's a division where, like, top to bottom, they're all just kind of around the same thing. So Rogers, I'm not sure if he would be an option for us. Angelo Smith here, he's wrecked. Yeah, no. 38-year-old Shane McClanahan, also on the Tigers. Probably not going to go after him. Chase Burns, once again, a guy who's not expiring. Bjorn Johnson, who we looked at last season when he was with Tampa Bay, having a not as good season this year. The percentile rankings aren't great. Yeah, they've a lot of red flags with this guy here. Don't think we're going to go after him. Taj Bradley with Minnesota still. He's not an expiring contract. Not trying to give him that type of money for next season, considering he's not really good anymore. Bryce Mayer, once again, not an expiring contract. Only $12.2 million, but he's also just not good. Carmen Majinski still out there. Once again, not an expiring contract. He has that same vesting for 180 innings. His pitches don't really have a lot of run value, but I mean, I guess he's getting O-swing percentage, decent at limiting walks, still throws pretty hard. Maybe, but I mean, he hasn't really done much as of recently. Like, he was always hurt with us, is the thing. Whenever he played for us, he was always hurt. Never pitched a full season. Then goes to Seattle. Was pretty decent. Then had a really good year in 2033. Then, ever since then, he's kind of taken a downward trend as he is now 36 years old. But he could possibly be an option. And then maybe we just try to. I mean, he's only got 79 innings. So he's fragile. So, like, we've already had horrible luck with him where he comes to us. And that was before he was fragile. So I don't know if we're going to do that. But it could be an option. Roki Sasaki, apparently also on the Mariners, has that same vesting option, and then he's also low enough to where he would not be hitting that with us. And his percentile rankings actually look pretty decent, and it could be fun to have Roki Sasaki. It could be fun. I'm kind of intrigued by that. I'm kind of intrigued by Roki Sasaki. I'll keep that on the mind here as we take a look at what the Mariners are. But yeah, once again, the Mariners, they're second place in the West. They're not going to win the West, but they're only a game out of the wild card, and they're directly right out of the wild card. Like, they're just a game behind the White Sox. So are the Tigers. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are, like, within striking distance. It's one of those sort of deadlines here where there's a lot of teams that could talk themselves into being a playoff team. So, like, all the way down to the Blue Jays here even. These teams can definitely talk themselves into being like, yeah, we can go on a run. Although they are 3-7, they're probably a team that's kind of talking themselves into selling because they're 3-7 heading into the deadline. So I'd say the Rays, Red Sox, A's, Tigers, Mariners, and then obviously the wildcard teams are all talking themselves into not trading. We're not going to trade with those teams. While on the National League side of things, it's probably just Giants Reds. Brewers and below are probably fair game, to be honest, because it's not a single game separation like it is with all those American League teams, and then these Giants and Reds teams are hot going into the deadline here, while the Brewers are not. The Cubs, they are hot, so maybe they could talk themselves into it, but the Rockies definitely out of it. So let's just go back to looking at these teams, and now that I went through all those teams, I'm going to totally forget all those teams' names, and I'm going to still go through every single one of these guys and being like, oh, are they on a team? Like Travis Sakura here, who is on the this is the last year of the deal that we gave him. Team option for next season. I don't believe the Giants have made the playoffs a single time since we've traded him to San Francisco. He's had 3 really solid 2.5, 3.5, 3-win seasons. This year, not so much. The percentile rankings, I'd imagine, are down 100%. The percentile rankings are down. Pitching just across the league just seems not good right now, which is, it's tough. So, Sakura could be an option. Like I said, I've already forgotten where the Giants were. Yeah, they're immediately out of it, so I'm not going to try to trade for Sakura. Thomas White from the Yankees, I mean, aren't they in the middle of it? No, they stink. The Yankees suck. So Thomas White could definitely be an option here. I don't love the poor control, but he's got good stuff, good movement. He's had some success throughout his career. He's been up and down. This year having a pretty decent season. 2033, he was pretty good. 2031, he was pretty good. It looks like 2032 probably got hurt a little bit. So yeah, he's had some good years. He could be an option for sure. Thomas White, top of the brain right now. He's probably the number one option. Reed Detmers expiring, probably not somebody we're really trying to pick up. Another Detroit guy, another Cubs guy who sucks right now. I mean, the run value for like everyone, all their pitches right now is horrible. Isaac Leone with the Arizona Diamondbacks having a not great season, but he's on the block. Yeah, I also saw an email about Steinmetz also on the block. And like I said, I already forgot where the D-backs are. The D-backs suck. The D-backs are terrible. So we could definitely go and be like, hey, Leone and Steinmetz, come on back. Why not? We've had success with Steinmetz in the past. Then he had that one bad season. We traded him to Pittsburgh. He was not great for them. And then he had a decent season in Pittsburgh, split between the rotation and the bullpen. And now he's full-time with Arizona back again, which is where we got him from originally. And he's having an okay season. So, could be something, maybe. We'll think about it. I mean, both of these guys, we've run through them before. Leone has had some decent playoff performances for us. But, maybe. We'll think about it. Because the thing that really is annoying is that we have on paper so many pitching prospects that like you look at a guy like Leone and you're like, well, we have guys that could be way better than this, but we have so many of them, and they're all like, even if they're 22, I'm just like, these guys seem like fake potential guys because none of them ever progress ever. You've got wrecked Justin Steele here, not going to trade for him. Carson Wisenhunt on the Braves, who is not expiring. Jose Cornel on the Rangers, who's not expiring and also not good. TJ Nichols, who's not good. I mean, how the fuck is this guy a 50 overall? Explain that to me. What? What about this profile says, yeah, he's a 50 overall pitcher? Nothing. Not a single bit of it. Kendry Rojas, not expiring. Landon Roop, not expiring. And now we're down to Steinmetz and then all the 45s, which is like at that point, we might as well just keep rolling with what we have. So it's just Thomas White is probably option number one, and then behind him would be probably doing like a combo deal for Leone and Steinmetz. What about the relievers? Are there any like super juiced relievers that could move to the rotation? I mean, there's Mason Miller, who's a super juiced reliever, but he's not a rotation guy. He could be interesting. He could be interesting for sure. What are the Blue Jays looking like? The Blue Jays are definitely out of it. They're 3-7, 100%. The Blue Jays are a team. So that might be the move right there. Trading for Thomas White in the rotation and Mason Miller for the bullpen. That could be very intriguing. They've got all these relievers on for sale. Cody Lawyerson, expiring contract. Spencer Miles, expiring contract. I don't know if I'd want him. I mean, he's pretty decent. But we don't have enough, like, dudes to, like, if we picked up all three of these relievers, we don't have enough dudes to, like, move around. You know? Like, who would we send down? Like, Barry, I guess Aggro could go down, but, like, Aggro's been good for us. We like Aggro. Hollick's not going to go down. Mangione's been good. Sime is starting to come back around. Yoder's not been good, but he's good overall for us. He's like our big strikeout guy with 80 grade stuff. And is he projected to be arbitration next season? No, he's projected to be minimum. So he's still making league minimum here. I don't really think that we should be trying to trade somebody like that. So, like, at the most, we maybe have, like, 2 options to send down, an Aggro and Berry. Yeah, it's not a lot. Or I guess Alcia too would go down. So we don't have a lot of dudes to, like, move around is the thing. So, and then just doing a shop for Thomas White and seeing what it would take. Literally, the only name that would make Thomas White work for them is Harry Ford. Is that because of the money? It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. We only have 74,000. Yeah, it's got to be because of the money. What if they make them retain, like, half of it? Yeah, then more names pop up. What if you retain all of it? Then more names pop. So you tell me if they just retained this $22.6 million for the rest of the season, they would just give us Thomas White for somebody like whatever this guy's name is? All right, so I think we're going to do this. So Thomas White, who's had some good years in the past, isn't having his best season, but should improve our rotation right now, at least theoretically. We're going to pick him up, but they're going to retain all this money because we can't afford it. And then just Jensen would get this done. Just one of these guys would get it done. But I'm like, they're going to retain all the money. We might as well give him something else. So we're going to give him Jensen, and we're going to give them Vasquez, who's just a reliever. Both these guys, Jensen is 23. Maybe he turns into something. Maybe he doesn't. Vasquez is another, he could be a really good reliever down the line. But he's just a reliever. Or I guess he does have a big stamina. But he's only a 2-pitch guy. So that's definitely going to limit him. So yeah, we're just going to give them... Or I mean, what is he if I move him to starter? Yeah, it's still a 50. Like Thomas White isn't that good. We're going to do this instead. We are going to have... Victor Vasquez and whatever this guy's name is, Jensen, to the D-backs, and we're going to pick up Steinmetz and Leon. So they're both going to come back to our team. These are guys we know, rather than doing just the one for Thomas White, who's having like a similar season to Jacob Steinmetz. So even though we know Steinmetz is an outspoken guy, we've got enough leaders and whatnot in the clubhouse to counteract that. And then we're even adding another one in Isaac Leon, who is a high leader guy. So him and Steinmetz are going to join the team, and we're going to see how that goes. They're both going to be in the rotation for us, and hopefully they're able to do some solid things for us in the rotation, as we are going to lock in this deal. So apparently Mason Miller has a no-trade clause, and he does not want to come to us. I don't know why he wouldn't want to come to a team that just won back-to-back World Series, and he would be a part of the rotation. Or not the rotation, but a part of our bullpen. He's not even a closer right now, so what is he? Because he's not going to be the closer for us, but he's not a closer for them either. So I don't understand what his deal is. So we're instead gonna. I was gonna try to go after him and Lawyerson, but we're gonna go after just Lawyerson instead, because he is the other best option in the reliever arms in my mind, and he's an expiring contract. Apparently they picked him up from waivers from Minnesota in 2028, and he's just been a part of the bullpen since. I mean, this guy's got some really good ratings, 60 control, 55 movement, 55 stuff. Really solid percentile rankings. He's 37, so he's starting to get towards the end of the line here. But we're going to try to win this guy a World Series, get him on the team here. And, of course, he's making a bunch of money, so we don't have a ton of money to deal with that. What if we make them retain, like, 55% of it? Yeah, that would still take some... Oh, I could give them Sirota. You know, Sirota is just... He hasn't been getting it done for us this season, and as much as it would be cool to have Sirota if something happens to Castillo and whatnot, but I do have some of my guys in AAA that I would just add to the 40-man to replace Sirota as the backup center fielder option, and I would just be totally fine with having that guy as our backup center fielder, or our depth center fielder option. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give them Sirota to make the money work. Make them not retain anything. Wait, so you're telling me even if I give them Sirota... Okay, so again, he's making... So what if we go like 25% of it? Okay. 35% of it. We'll give you Sirota, Lawyerson, and we'll also give you like a 45 prospect to make your... make it worth your while. We'll give you Tarek Charles, who's a 19-year-old pitcher who we just took in the 2034 draft. Having some good percentile rankings in rookie ball. You know, he's still far away. He's got high leader, adaptability, work ethic, baseball IQ. His ratings aren't the best, but he's got this percent. He's got the personality class with the leader. We're going to give him Charles and Sirota. They're going to retain 35%, and then we are going to get Cody Lawyerson onto our team. Alrighty, so after we did the trades, this is what our pitching staff looks like now. We're going to be rocking Skubal, Hardcastle, Steinmetz, Kleeman, and Leone in the rotation. And then in the bullpen, it's Matamoros as the closer, obviously. Lawyerson and Mangione are the stopper, righty-lefty double barrel. And then the double barrel setups are Herrera and Hollick. And then we have Yoder, Sime, and Rouse in the bullpen, all in middle relief with secondary roles as well. We just had to send down Agro to make room for Lawyerson. We sent down Alcia to make room for one of the starters. And then we just had to remove Jerry Harris from a two-way player, which now gives him the flexibility of being a second baseman. Jerry Harris, who potentially is, 60 range, 60 turn DP, the arm's not great, but he's 55 at second base with 60 potential. We're going to play him at second base. He's going to play second base for us simply because Dylan O'Ray hasn't been the greatest second baseman for us. And like on paper with the ranges, you would think that maybe Jerry Harris could be a better DH or a better second baseman than O'Ray, who's got a -6 ZR. So it's like, we might as well try something. So literally all we're going to do is just swap Harris and O'Ray at second base and DH. They're just swapping positions. So that is the plan here for the hitting side of things and the pitching side of things, and we're going to see where we are at the end of the season. Currently 66-40 on the year, one game out of first place behind the New York Mets. Where will we be at the end of the campaign? Alrighty, folks, doing a quick little check-in here. We just passed over into September. It's currently September 5th, and we are starting to pull away a bit from the New York Mets here. We have a 6-game lead on them in the National League East Division. We are 9-1 in our last 10. We're currently on a W8, which is like the third W8 we've been on in the past like month or so. If we take a look at our schedule page here, you can see here, we're currently on this W8, ranges back into August. We lost this game to St. Louis, and then right before that, it was a W8 leading into this St. Louis loss. And then at the start of the month of August, going from this Miami series, 3 in a row there, and then W8, then the Kansas City loss. So that's the third W8 in like a little over a month that we've had here, as we are just absolutely rolling through the National League right now. 94 wins, and it's only September 5th. Well, hot damn, folks. We just topped another win number. 107 in 2033, 108 in 2034, and now this season, 110 wins here atop the NL East Division, 11 games in front of them. The Mets won 98 games and got beaten out by the division by 11 games. Folks, absurd. An absurd team here we've put together for 2035. So taking a look at our expanded standings here, as you can see, 110 wins. That is a plus 278 run differential. I mean, we just absolutely smoked the competition this year. The highest in the American League was 113 with the Houston Astros, and then the highest in the National League besides us was the Pittsburgh Pirates, who won 98 games in the Central, and then the Mets also had a +1. Imagine having a +123 run differential and then getting smoked by 11 games in your division. It's just absurd. I mean, we outplayed our Pythagorean a bit, but that's because our Pythagorean was 106 wins, and we won 110. 7-3 to close out the season in our last 10. Just an absurd year. Just an absurd year. We take a look at the team stats here, and you can already see a lot of improved numbers from this pitching and defense side of things, while on the offense, a lot of ones as it was throughout the entire season. I mean, we had the best offense in baseball from the jump, essentially. First in batting average, OBP, slugging, OPS, WAR, WOBA, runs scored, 935 runs scored. Hits, extra base hits, home runs, second in walks, sixth in least amount of strikeouts. Don't steal a ton of bags, but then we had the best base running in the National League. Well, over on the National League's, over on the pitching and defense side of things, overall second best ERA, which is love to see that. We've had first before, but this year we struggled through the first half, started figuring things out once we made some deals at the deadline, and then our team really started to settle in here as we ended up with the third best starters ERA, the best bullpen ERA, as you would expect from the Nationals, second least amount of runs allowed. I think this was like seventh at one point. So, I mean, you score 935 runs, you only give up 657. Pretty insane ratio. Fifth in WAR, second in hits allowed, second in opponent's average, the best BABIP, eighth in home runs allowed. Definitely worrisome a bit, but a lot of that was in the beginning of the season when our guys were just getting absolutely hammered. That has been much improved as the season has gone on. And then we don't walk anybody. We strike out a bunch of guys. We're fourth in strikeouts, first in defensive efficiency, third in zone rating, and only third in errors. So defense and pitching right back to being really, really good for us, along with just this absolute supernova of an offense we've put together here for 2035. And let's take a look at this offense, sorting by wins above replacement. 5 WAR for Luke Corsia, folks. What did I say? Beginning of the season, we're expecting big things from Luke Corsia, and he delivers with a 5-win season, a 144 WRC plus, 46 doubles, which leads the National League. Only 18 home runs, but he's not a powerful guy. But that's still, we'll take it. And then 106 runs driven in and 113 runs scored. 9.4 walk rate, a sub-20 strikeout rate, hits for 300, 889 OPS, 30 swipe bags as well. Incredible player. Did not have the best season defensively, but he held his own enough in left field, and I think that overall he will be a better defender as he gets more used to the big league level. We've had guys before who come up and struggle their first couple seasons in the outfield or in their position, and then they start getting solidified, and they put together some like 5+ CRs. And I think he could be a guy who could put up like a 5-6 CR in left field with 60 range for sure. But the bat, very, very good for Luke Corsia this season. And then Jerry Harris, as we know, no longer a two-way guy for us, but I mean, man, the bat is elite with him. My goodness. Look at these percentile rankings. Look at these numbers. 4.9 wins above replacement at the plate this season, 146 WRC plus, 28 doubles, and 42 home runs, which not only led the team, it led the National League. 112 runs driven in and 113 runs scored. Walk rate, K rate, fantastic. Walking more than he's striking out yet again. I mean, it's Jerry frickin' Harris, folks. He is insane. Did a bit better defensively than Dylan O'Ray. He didn't do good defensively, but definitely going to be our second baseman here heading into the playoffs, as Dylan O'Ray just cannot hang at that position and is going to be the DH for us. And then he had a great season as well. We'll get into him in a little bit here. Brady Ebel, 4.7 wins above replacement for him, a 148 WRC plus, 29 doubles and 37 home runs, a league-leading 127 RBI, only 95 runs scored, but he was doing all the driving in the runs for us. 900 OPS for him, some crazy percentile rankings. He has really, really developed for us as an elite middle-of-the-order hitter. Love to see it. Brady Ebel, I mean, just fantastic year for him. And then Angel Feliz had that slow start to the season offensively, ended up about where we would expect. Around league average hitter, really good defender, 4-win season. He just puts together those WAR numbers. He is now up to a career 33.2 wins above replacement. He's 28, almost 29 years old, and he put together another really solid ZR season at the shortstop position. We love it. Angel Feliz, 26 home runs, 24 stolen bases. He does his thing. Then we move things on to Dylan O'Reilly, the top of the order for us. 3.9 wins above replacement. Ever since we have picked him up from the waiver wire from Milwaukee in 2031, he didn't have the greatest 2031 season, but then from 2032 onward, man, he has been an absolute dynamo for us at the top of the order, sometimes at the bottom of the order, just being gets on base, elite bat-to-ball skills. He's a high leader. He's even a captain. Not only is he a high leader, he's a captain personality class. He has been fantastic for us. Dylan O'Reilly, I mean, we love him. We love Dylan O'Reilly. He's fantastic. And wasn't it like we called him up in 2031 and he like got some playoff time? That's why we decided to play him more in 2032? Because he didn't have a great regular season in 2031 for us, but then he like played in the playoffs, and I was like, I'm liking what this guy is doing here. And then I think that's how it went. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, we love Dylan O'Reilly. Great season for him. Melvin Jimenez took over the starting catcher position towards the end, or towards like the second, like the end of the first half of the season. So like basically the whole second half, he was the starting catcher. Puts together a 3.5 win season with a 135 WRC plus 20 home runs. We will take it. Obviously, he's not going to give us the stolen base numbers that Harry Ford gives us. He did not have a great ZR. Yeah, but the framing numbers, really good stuff. Throws out a good amount of runners. Good catcher's ERA. I mean, he's a solid catcher. Doesn't strike out. Hits for home runs. What more could you ask for? As he had a really good season for us, taking over for Harry Ford, who did end up turning it around a bit towards the end of the season, but Melvin Jimenez was just going so hot, we kept him as the starter. So now we've got two catchers who could potentially play for us here. If someone struggles, we'll get Harry Ford in there. But for now, Melvin Jimenez is our everyday catcher. And then James Wood, 3.5 wins for him. Did not have his best season, but 126 WRC plus, 27 doubles, 24 home runs. The start of the season, it looked like maybe he was on pace to have another ridiculous season, but he's definitely starting to slow down a little bit. He's not quite the MVP numbers he was in the past, but still a very, very good hitter. And then just having a great season. 29 stolen bases as well with the 24 home runs and 27 doubles. Scored 107 runs. I mean, he's fantastic. We love James Wood. And then we have Luis Hernandez, who, like I said, we believe in Luis Hernandez, and what do you know? He figured things out, ended up putting together a 3.5 win season with an around league average WRC plus. He's Luis Hernandez. He does what he does. He's a key part of our team here. And then we have Josh DiCastillo. Maybe it's Yashti. I don't know. Whatever his name is, the 6'8" center fielder here took over, ended up establishing himself as that center fielder. 2.5 wins for him, around league average bat, 20 doubles, 16 home runs. We will take it, and put together a 6.7 ZR at the center field position. So he's just an absolute freak out there. We love to see it. And he's our center fielder from this point on. And then Wilkin Tamariz, only in 81 games appeared in, 205 plate appearances, still put together a 2-win season with a 133 WRC plus. Like I said, he is going to be our right fielder next year. So team's going to be looking a bit different in 2036, but we've got the pieces in place to replace the guys who are going to be moving on from our team, and Wood and Ford and probably Harris. We'll have to see. But Tamariz, good season for him on the bench for us. Harry Ford, like I said, started to turn things around as the season went on. April, May, June, July, not great for him. And then as a bench player in August and September, really started to turn things around. So good to see that. I love to see that he's actually not totally cooked. But Melvin Jimenez is our starting catcher right now. As you can see with him, his month-by-month WRC plus, I mean, basically from the jump, he was really good. April, May, June, July, August, he was barely below league average, and then right back September for the 139. So, he's clearing away the best guy, the best option for us at the catcher position right now, but it's good to know that Harry Ford is not totally cooked. And then Gabby Berry, he actually had a little bit of time as the starting shortstop because Angel Feliz missed like 2-3 weeks at some point. But and he did go on a bit of a hot streak when he was at the shortstop position. Ends up with a round league average WRC plus 1.5 wins as the backup infielder for us. I doubt he's ever going to be a true starter for us. Maybe at some point, but for now, Gabby Berry, very I don't know. Maybe he's a starter next year. We'll see. We'll have to see. But right now, really solid bench player to have. Love to see it. And then Miguel Fonseca. Not a lot of appearances, not a lot of plate appearances, but when he did, he made them count. Really, really good percentile rankings, as we've talked about. The guy is an elite 3 true outcomes, but even more than that because he also has the BABIP. And he's probably going to be a DH or first baseman for us next season, or probably DH because Brady Ebel is our first baseman. But Miguel Fonseca is a guy we definitely want to get involved in the team next season in the starting lineup. So right now, really good bench bat to have, and we love to see it. I mean, literally the only WRC plus below league average on this entire team was Harry Ford because he had a horrible beginning of the season, but as we saw, turned things around in the past 2 halves. I mean, it would have been crazy if he was able to get up in the triple digits here, but I mean, just look at these numbers. Look at this stuff. This is crazy. And then taking a look at the pitching side of things, where, like I said, at the start of the season, things weren't looking great, but as we moved things on with the rest of the year, people started settling into their own here. So innings pitch leader ended up being Isaac Leone, came over from the D-backs for a second stint with us, and wasn't the best, but also was pretty solid. He was above league average, better than league average in both the ERA and the FIP. We'll take it. Doesn't walk anybody. That's what we expect from Isaac Leone. Just go in there, eat some innings, don't walk anybody, and he did that to a T. And then we had Tarek Skubal, who put together a 2.5-win season. Not his best season, but, he's getting up there in age, and he was still good enough. And then we have Dax Hardcastle, who once again did not have his best season, but 2.8 wins, we'll take it. We still believe in Dax Hardcastle. He's a key part of our rotation. Just a down year for him, but if that's a down year, we will absolutely take it. And then Jacob Steinmetz came over from Arizona for stint number 2 for us. The Elevate Academy, man, the money laundering scheme out there and wherever the hell this is located, probably Arizona, Florida. It's really just 1 or 2 states that it could be located in. But 20 starts with Arizona, he was pretty decent, came over, 11 starts with us, and he was around league average. Nothing too crazy, but, steady guy to have in the rotation for us nonetheless. And then Alex Rouse went to the bullpen for a bit, and you may notice that Eric Kleeman is not on the rotation right now because he got hurt, unfortunately, will not be in the playoffs for us. So Alex Rouse actually moved back into the rotation here. If you look at his splits, he was really good as a reliever, but then he was really good as a starter too, particularly in the 3 starts that he had since moving back to the rotation. You can see here 5 2/3 in all 3 of the starts, and throughout those 3 starts, only 1 run given up. So he is looking like a guy who might be in our rotation. The only thing is, heading into the playoffs with a 4-man rotation, it's definitely going to be Skubal, it's definitely going to be Hardcastle, and then it's like, Rouse is probably the 3rd best option right now, but also Steinmetz and Leone are guys that probably don't work as well in the bullpen as Rouse does. So it's like, would we be better off having Rouse go to the bullpen, even though he's probably the better starter option right now, and just have Steinmetz and Leone be starters? Or do we want to move one of Steinmetz and Leone to the bullpen? Or maybe one of them doesn't even make the postseason roster and Eric Agro makes the postseason roster, because as you can see, Jay Nelson is on this team right now. But we will tackle all that once we get to the postseason. For now, let's just keep going over how our team did. Kevin Yoder ended up being not great, but struck out a bunch of guys doing his thing. He's never really had super, super great numbers for us, but he shows up in some decent spots for us because he's got that 80 grade stuff with the 80 grade fastball and slider, and he's definitely a valuable player to have. Miguel Sime Jr., not his best season with the ERA, but the FIP ended up being about what it usually is for him. Limited home runs, didn't walk anybody even with the 40 control, and struck out a decent enough of guys. So he had a decent season. Vince Mangione, who we picked up from the Cubs on the waiver wire as a lefty, spark plug personality class. He had put together a 2-win season for us in 70 2/3 innings. Really, really good year for him. Love to see it. And then Cody Lawyerson came over at the deadline from Toronto, was really good for them, and then was also really good for us, as I'm choking on, I don't even know, air somehow. And then we move things on to Bobby Matamoros, back end of the bullpen. I mean, the best closer in baseball, folks. I mean, 2.9 wins, 2.15 ERA plus, 36 FIP minus. That's a sub-2 ERA and FIP for the third straight season. The only season of his career that he was in the big leagues for the entire time and had above a 2 ERA was 2032, where he was still really, really good. I mean, look at these fucking numbers. Absurd. Absurd. Crazy player, Bobby Matamoros out of Coastal Carolina, and he's still only 27. I don't even have words. But anyways, we move things on to Evan Hollick, who did not have his best season, only 29 innings pitched for him, but he's not in as high leverage of a role as we thought that he would be in when we originally signed him to the contract that we did, and we thought that he was going to be like an elite stopper for us, and then his stamina went down. He's had some injuries. He's had to deal with a bunch of back spasms, a sore shoulder that had multiple setbacks, some elbow inflammation throughout his career. So, he's definitely had some injuries to work through. Luckily, he's still just normal injury prone. This is probably normal, bordering on fragile, but still, still a good player. We still like him. And then Wellington Herrera ended up having a much, much better second half. He started it off really, really poorly for us. Some of the percentile rankings aren't great, but he's still a useful left-hander to have on our team here. If we take a look at the splits, April did not go well. May did go well. June was okay. And then July, August, September was just lights out for us. So Wellington Herrera, much, much better, especially when you're only getting 28.2 innings pitched. One or two bad outings can really influence your ERA, which is what was happening with him earlier in the season. Now, I should say his walk rate is up a ton this year, which is kind of worrying. But for now, he's still effective. So hopefully that doesn't come to bite us in the postseason or anything. I'm also seeing that somehow, his reliever was cranked up way the hell up here. Somehow, I guess I forgot to do this page again when we reacquired him. So I guess some of that was probably my fault. And then just quickly looking at some other guys who were on our team this season and got a decent amount of time at the big league level. 10 starts, 49 innings for Edwin Alcia. He was like whatever. Ate some innings for us. Valuable enough, I guess. Eric Agro had a crazy ERA for us this season with a 1.9, but then the FIP was at a 4. So definitely really a lucky season for him. And he could be a guy who ends up on the postseason roster at some point, but for now, he is not on the postseason roster. Was back up on the team during September call-ups, but for now, he is just going to be he's going to be off the postseason roster and may work his way back on. We'll have to see. We also did call up Dave Flores for a cup of coffee in the September call-ups because the plan is for him and Jimenez to be our catchers next season, so I figured why not call them up, get him some time in the big leagues here, because we're probably not going to send him down at the start of next season either, so it's not going to we're going to burn an option for him. And he got 6 games, 3 starts, and hit well in those 3 games here. We look at his game log at the major league level. This doesn't seem correct. Oh, this is spring training here. So, yeah. 7-14. Got to hit that game. And then here in September, he had a few hits. 1 home run against the Mets. So, 6 games here in the big leagues this season. We'll take it. He had a 124 WRC plus in limited sample size. He's our 3rd catcher right now. And heading into the next season, he's going to be one of 2 because Harry Ford is going to be hitting free agency. So that's why we called him up. I should also mention that we do have Wei Lee on the 40-man because he might be the second baseman for us next season and had a really good year in Double-A. He missed a ton of time with a torn meniscus this season, unfortunately. So he was not able to develop as much as we would have liked, but he still did develop a little bit here. So from March, his overall rating went up, his June, his contact went up, and then September, his contact and his gap both went up. Projects to still be an elite major league second baseman. Over spring training and the offseason, he should be ready to go. Basically, I added him to the point on here to be like, oh, if we ever did a second baseman in the postseason, he could be an option for us. So he is postseason eligible, but for right now, he is not on the postseason roster, but he is eligible. And then quickly taking a look at some of the league leaders around Major League Baseball this season, the batting average leader is Luis Hernandez. Or I guess that'd be Luis. Luis Hernandez of the Giants. Another one of these guys. The Giants, did they make the playoffs this year? Did they finally do it? They did not. They missed that yet again. So the Giants continue to just shoot themselves in the foot over and over again and cannot make the playoffs, even with a guy who puts up an 8-win season offensively, and he's been really good for them overall. I don't know how they continue to miss the playoffs, but they do, as Luis Hernandez leads the National League in batting average, and then the American League was Antonio Camarena out of Venezuela, a 22-year-old, almost 23-year-old. He's already been in the big leagues for 3 full seasons, and he is an absolutely insane third baseman for them. 70 great arm as well. Crazy player. And then the home run leader, as we saw earlier, Jerry Harris, 42 home runs, leads the National League. And then the American League leader was Ricky Hernandez, the catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. Hell yes. And then we had Quinn Holm, who only hit 40. He played 149 games, and he still only hit 40. So not quite the numbers he was putting up earlier in his career in Texas, but did not realize that he's with San Diego now. I guess they got him in the offseason. Good for him. And then the RBI leader, Brady Ebel, led all of Major League Baseball with 127. Jerry Harris also on this list. The wins above replacement leaders were Amenagal, Diego Amenagal, a Dominican infielder for the Cardinals here, puts together an 8-win season. And then he also had Luis Hernandez in the National League. The first American League guy on this list was Ricky Hernandez, the catcher for the Blue Jays. Puts together a 7-win year. Stolen base leader, this guy Donovan Marion from the Brewers, who's been on this list for a while now. He's a crazy good player. And then Ellie De La Cruz at age 33, still putting together a crazy season, still stealing a ton of bags, still hitting well, still playing a good shortstop as well. I mean, crazy. He's just defying age. Ellie De La Cruz. And then OPS, Jerry Harris is on this list as well. Corsia with 181 hits was third in Major League Baseball. The best in the National League, though. Only 2 American League players were above him. Runs scored, we had 3 players in the top 5 with Corsia, Harris, and James Wood. Luke Corsia had 46 doubles, which led the National League. Triples, he had 10. Only a couple players had more than him. One of them being Ellie De La Cruz, one of them being a former Red and Brandon Poore. Total bases, Jerry Harris. Slugging percentage, Jerry Harris. Counting walks, Jerry Harris and James Wood both on this list. ISO, Jerry Harris. And then you take a look at the pitching side of things. The ERA leader in the National League was Mark Jochum from Bishop Gorman in Nevada, in Las Vegas. 5.8 wins for the Pirates this season. And then the American League leader was Spoonman, Marcus Spooner, 3rd overall in 2030. We got to make his nickname Spoonman, right? He's Spoonman. No, not capital P. Spoonman. I mean, he's even in Seattle. It's perfect. It's perfect. He's Spoonman. And then wins leaders, Scooble on this list. Who cares? Some guy on the Braves had 258 strikeouts, which is well above the second guy, Sean Webster. I mean, yeah, crazy stuff on this guy. Look at all these pitches that are crazy. Slider, curve, change, sink, split. Everything he throws breaks. And he is striking at guys left and right as a lefty as well. Wins above replacement. Mick Abel, somehow. How old is he now? He's 34 with the Los Angeles Angels. It looks like he's been there for a long, long time, since 2028, and he has really turned into a really, really good pitcher for the Angels. They also have this guy, Danny Wilson, as I don't think they make the playoffs either. They don't. So typical Angels, they have all this good stuff, and they still can't make the playoffs. And then any other players for us here, Skubal with whip. There was only one complete game of all in Major League Baseball this season. You had base on balls per 9, Skubal's on there. Opponent's batting average, Skubal's on there. Holds, Mangione is on here. Winning percentage, Skubal. BABIP, the best in Major League Baseball, was Skubal. And then on the fielding side of things, something like the total chances one is like our first baseman. And then zone rating, none of our guys show up there. Grady Emerson with the White Sox is on this list, though. And then over runners thrown out percentage, none of our guys are there. But then catchers earned runs average, catcher ERA is Melvin Jimenez. I always call him Miguel. Melvin Jimenez, best in Major League Baseball. And then he also made an appearance on the catcher framing runs, which I don't believe that Harry Ford ever did. So Jimenez, not towards the top, but he's 7th, which counts on this list. He's top 7 in Major League Baseball when it comes to framing runs. Love to see it. The best being Carlos Martinez of the Tampa Bay Rays here. Good for them, finally getting themselves a catcher. And then taking a look at some of the streaks here in Major League Baseball this season. Scoring streak, bunch of guys with 10, one of them being Jerry Harris. Luke Corsia also had 9. You had RBI streak. Brady Ebel had 7. Who else do we have on this list? Extra base hits in a row. Luke Corsia had 7 straight games. Wellington Herrera apparently has 20 straight games of scoreless innings, and that's currently still ongoing as well. And then we also had Harry Ford, who has consecutive pinch hit home runs in 1 AB. Apparently Luke Keeschel hit 2 home runs in 2 consecutive pinch hit appearances. But then taking a quick look at the playoff bracket here for the 2035 postseason, Nationals and Pirates are your first-round bye teams, while the Cardinals, Mets, Dodgers, and Padres are your wildcard teams. While over on the American League side of things, it's the Astros and the Orioles as the number 1 and 2 seeds, with the Blue Jays, White Sox, Twins, and Royals as your wildcard teams. We shall see who we're playing in the NLDS next time.